Alrighty, what's up friends? Today we're here with another first ride, and today we are riding the Exway Flex Paragon. Now, this is a board that I just recently got at EskatCon. I basically brought my Flex 2 Pro for Exway to demo on, and they gave me this in exchange, so we kind of swapped. So I don't have the Flex 2 Pro anymore, but I do have the Flex Paragon, which ironically is basically just a Flex 2 Pro with some extra features. So my goal for doing a review on this board is to compare the value and features of this Paragon to the regular Flex 2 Pro. Now, we're gonna get the negatives out of the way first. What would stop you, or what's the downsides of buying this board versus the regular Flex 2 Pro? Well, the most obvious thing is that this is going to cost a little bit more. This comes in at, according to the website, without being on sale, quote unquote, $17.99. However, right now I want to say that it says $14.99, and if you look at the Flex 2 Pro, I believe it's $1,350. So a little bit of a difference there. The question is, what are you actually paying for? Well, one of the first things I've noticed, which is another negative, is that while this does have a swappable battery system, which is cool, it also rattles a lot more. So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this, but there's quite a lot of rattle going on when we go over these sidewalk cracks, and I could compare this directly to my Flex 2 Pro because I ride the same route for these tests. But in my opinion, this rattles a lot more, which is immediately a turnoff for something that costs more and offers similar performance. But one of the main things that I'm hoping to see here is that the 14S battery in the Paragon here gives you a little bit more range than the 12S 2P of the 50S cells in Flex 2 Pro. So just to sort of recap the actual specs here, we have 14S 2P in here of also 50S cells, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but I believe it's 50S. So you have this many watt hours on the Flex Paragon and this many watt hours on the Flex 2 Pro. The Paragon is going to be more just because of math, but the question is, does it actually translate to any significant gain in range? If you haven't watched the Flex 2 Pro review, check that out up in the iCard afterwards, but we did a range test on that board and I got 17.5 miles. So 17.5, pretty good. If you think back to the Flex Pro, I'll also link that review, I want to say it was 14.3 or something. Pretty much the same range that I got on the Flex ER. So it was a really great upgrade for me going from the Flex Pro to the Flex 2 Pro, getting that much more range. I mean, 3 miles doesn't sound like a lot, but in terms of percentage, it is a decent jump. Now, thinking all the way back, the Flex Pro is still for sale on the Exway website for $7.99. Now, that is a pretty great deal when you consider the fact that the performance of the Flex Pro and the Flex 2 Pro were basically identical. So if you look at the performance charts that I had for those, I'll throw the acceleration chart up on screen right now, for example. We're looking at pretty much identical performance between the Flex 2 Pro and the Flex Pro. So really what you're getting with the Flex 2 Pro is the pretty lighting system, which, don't get me wrong, definitely a cool feature. But for some people, they definitely don't care, especially if they never ride at night, because let's be real, you can't see the lights in the daytime. Not like you do at night anyway. So if you don't care about the lighting, $7.99 for the Flex Pro, the standard one, is quite good. Obviously the range is another thing, so 3 miles, if you don't need that, Flex Pro, great deal. Flex 2 Pro, get a little bit more range, get some really cool lighting, get your turn signals, and you get the Rexus remote, which is honestly a huge upgrade. But it comes out at $13.50 right now. So, you know, pretty much double the price of the original Flex 2 Pro for 3 miles range, an upgraded remote, and lighting. All this depends on what you want. The reason why I'm focusing on these other boards here is because there's not a ton to talk about on the Paragon. So I'm trying to give you guys a well-rounded view of the boards in this segment from Exway. The Flex ER and the Exway Flex, I don't even consider them options anymore because the Flex Pro is so affordable. It's not really affordable because it's still $800, but it is, in terms of price and performance, a pretty good value. Paragon coming in at $14.99. We start to question the value here, and for me, the main value thing that this offers is the swappable battery. And what that basically means is you could take this on trips with you pretty easily if you were able to ship the battery ahead. So basically you just take the battery off and stick it in a box to ship it to your destination, and then you can fly with this board but on its own, which you can technically do with pretty much any board. This just makes it really easy because you can pull it off in a couple seconds. The swappable battery idea is also really good to extend range. So if you wanted to buy another battery, it actually does sell those. So you could just buy another battery, carry it in your backpack, and then theoretically, wow, what'd you say? Theoretically, you could have double the range by just carrying, I don't know, 7 or 8 pounds in your backpack, which is really not a huge deal in my opinion. So I'll check what the price is for the extra battery and put it on screen as well. My guess, probably gonna run you another $400 or so. It might even be more than that because this battery actually has lighting on it as well. It also has a USB-C port, which is a cool feature to have for a swappable battery, because it means you can use it as a giant battery bank for charging either your remote or your phone or your camera or whatever. But I'm guessing it's not super affordable. But again, you think about the portability of the board. Having the swappable battery does make it a little bit lighter than having two, a 14S 4 feet in one spot is always stuck to the board versus one that's swappable in your backpack. Kind of spreads the weight out a little bit more. Makes it a little bit more portable, I think. But in terms of other differences, obviously the swappable battery, number one, you get a little bit more lighting. You have the Rexus remote, same as the Flex 2 Pro. You have the same trucks, the same wheels, the same drivetrain on the powerful, something like 3,000 watts versus 2,500. I believe that it is identical motors and that it's just the ESC putting different amps into the motors. That's my guess. Probably the same exact winding size and stator and everything like that. I will check on the motors themselves to see if they say that they're a different kV, because ironically the top speed of this board is 31, which is the same top speed as the Flex 2 Pro, and the Flex 2 Pro is 12S. So if you think about it, having the top speed the same doesn't make sense mathematically, because higher voltage usually equals higher speed. So I'm not exactly sure what Exway has done there. The belt drive ratio on here is 2.5. I'm pretty sure it's the same on the Flex 2 Pro. So I don't know where that performance is going. I would have expected this to be a little higher, like 33 miles an hour or 35 even, but it's not. It does go to 31 though. I have tested it already. And this is quote unquote my first real ride on this. I've done a couple laps around the block on it, gone to a couple stores, but this is the first extended ride. But it really feels the same as the Flex 2 Pro. The only real difference I'm noticing is that it rattles more. So, the power difference, I'm not really feeling it. I don't think that there's a tangible difference in the 14S battery and VSC on here versus the 12S on the Flex 2 Pro. Of course, numbers are king, so when we do the review, I will, of course, as always, have the performance testing, 0 to 20, the 100-meter sprint, and the braking tests and all that. So we'll get the raw numbers and compare them directly, but I'm just not feeling the performance difference here, which is kind of fine as long as you're buying this for the swappable battery, because if you're buying this for more performance, I'm not seeing it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. The deck is exactly the same as far as I can tell. The lighting system is the same on the deck. Still looks great, awesome colors. Still compatible with the Skate app, so you can go in and view your battery percentage and change settings and stuff like that. Good to see that. Still love the Rexus remote. I still think it's one of the best thumb wheel remotes on the market. Really comfortable, nice thumb wheel, good control, and I actually have a sleeve on this one that Exway gave me at ECACon. It's basically just a silicone sleeve that fits over it and theoretically should protect your remote if you were to drop it. Not going to be as durable as like a metal one, like what ASTEC offers, but of course this is pretty lightweight and it only adds a little bit of extra size to the remote. I do notice it, but it might be worth it if you think you're going to drop your remote all the time. It's not really worth it for me because I don't drop my remote because it's always on the lanyard. I do this all the time at stoplights to hit crosswalk buttons or look at my phone or whatever. So I'm not really dropping my remote very often, and the silicone sleeve makes it more annoying to put in my pocket. So I'll probably take it off, but I figured I would put it on here to show you guys how it fits. It does fit nicely. It's perfectly molded to the shape and the buttons and stuff like that. Still lets the little light on the back of the remote shine. So good design, but probably not something I'm going to keep on it just because I really don't need it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, I think that covers all of the aspects of the Paragon. For me, I can see the value proposition here. I don't know if I would personally purchase this and a extra pack, just because it's getting over the $2,000 mark. And for me, I value having all the battery in the board at once more than having it in the split up into two. Part of the reason for that is because when you put more cells in parallel, say this was a 14S 4P instead of a 2P, typically what happens is you get a little bit more effective watt hours out of your pack because the load is spread across the cells, which makes them sag less. So for me, I like having a bigger P group pack to start with. So if I were building this board and trying to put a 14S 4P in it, it'd be challenging, but I think you could do it if you tried hard enough. Probably a flexible pack that's a little bit longer than the one that's currently on here. But I think the main thing that I'm looking to find out is this actually quicker than the Flex 2 Pro? I think the answer is actually no. If anything, maybe a couple points of a second, but we'll see. We'll see. Range test will also be fun. I think I'm going to do that today on this very same ride. I'm riding the correct speeds and stuff to do it, so I'm planning on just extending this first ride video into a range test. I'll just record a couple flips and add them together. But yeah, so far, loving the board. I love the Flex 2 Pro. So, only complaint is that rattling. I wish it was a little bit less. And to be fair, it's not a lot of rattling, but it's there. It makes it feel a little bit less premium. So we're gonna go over Vibration Bridge here, and then up the hill. So I'll probably leave you guys off at the top of the hill after we see how it performs on these two spots. So how this feels, I feel the same. I'm really looking for that vibration noise. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Pretty loud. I am interested to see, well, the Flex 2 Pro didn't struggle on this hill either, so I was going to say I'm interested to see how it does on this hill, but it has more than enough power to sustain 20 miles an hour and above up a hill like this. We're still on full battery currently. That does make me optimistic for this having a good deal more range than the Flex 2 Pro. Personally, I'm hoping for at least 2 to 3 miles more. If we can hit the 20 mark, that would be great. Hilariously, on the website, Exway does claim 34 miles of range, which is not as bad as the Max Find claiming 35 miles, but there's no chance that this is hitting 35 or 34 miles of range, especially not on this route. Maybe if we were perfectly flat, 120-pound rider, and you ride in speed mode 2, then you could probably get 35 or 34, but we're being realistic here. 185 pounds with a little bit of gear and going at reasonable loop ride speeds is what I like to call this. We're gonna see how accurate that range is. I'm guessing 20, pretty much bang on, would be my my ideal range to get on here. If we get more than that, great. If we get a little less, I won't be surprised. Everyone's mileage may literally vary because everyone's different weight, everyone's terrain is different. Even the weather can make a difference on how lithium batteries discharge, but I try to make it as accurate as possible by doing the same route, riding approximately the same speeds, and you know, we do what we can. But anyway, I don't think I need to yap anymore about this right now. The one thing I will say, really annoying that these cables are popping out of their little holders. I have the same exact holders on the Atlas Pro, and they're way tighter, so I don't know what happened to this one. But I'll cut them some slack there because this is a demo board, and I have no idea what people have done to this. So, gotta give them a little bit of leeway there, but hopefully yours doesn't come with floppy motor cables. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now. I'll take a little bit more footage on the way home, and then I will do a outro and I'll continue on with the range test. Probably not going to see the range test clips in this video. They'll be in the full review. So stay tuned. Alright, so we have finished our first ride on the Flex Paragon. This thing is pretty great. Has all of the great things I liked from the Flex 2 Pro. Same great trucks, same great bushings, same great deck, same great remote, same powertrain for the most part, and at least the same amount of range. So really, if you wanted the Exway Flex 2 Pro, you would want this. It's just a matter of you deciding, do you want to spend the extra money for potentially a little more range and the ability to swap your packs. So that information will be forthcoming in my review on this board when I eventually finish up doing the 100 miles of testing on here. I might not do 100 because it's basically the same board, but on the other hand, I do want to see how well this quick release system lasts. I did complain about the rattling. It's really not that bad. Even like dropping it on the ground, it's not that loud. It's just Exway boards are put together to such a high level or a high degree of like finish that seeing that on this board is a little bit disappointing. But again, it's not that bad, and on some roads you can't even really hear much rattle at all. But overall, it's a fun first ride. I don't really have any major complaints about this. It's a board that I would like to keep in my arsenal as a good demo board for people to try out. Of course, you have your speed modes on here to vary the power for new people to try it. And then once they get past that, they can go all the way up to 31 miles an hour. So not really a lot to complain about. In terms of the range tests, I am going to keep doing that right now. We did 7.8 miles and we only used 1 bar of charge. So usually the fourth, third, second, and last bar go faster than the first one, but we'll see. Make sure you stay tuned, get subscribed, and like if you want to see more Exway content. There's a lot more coming in the pipeline. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.